like, a lot of people want to master their mindset and they might hear me preach about it so much, but there's also the body element to it. It's the work on your inner self, and your breath work is so key, from calming the nervous system to being able to deal with stressful moments, and like you said, belief systems. For me, breath work has helped me elevate even further by understanding who I am, being able to not just face fears, but face the day properly. I speak the person that I want to be. All of these little things, breath work and affirmations and all of that, is just a contributor to who you're going to be. You know, I even said to my mum one day, I said, I'm going to make some of our family. Like, that's taking control. It's on me. Daniel, thanks for coming in today.
No, thank you. Honored to be here.
So just as an introduction, Daniel is my breathwork coach. I've been working with Daniel for 12 months. I can't even think off the top of my head. But yeah, I've been working with Daniel. I'm a big advocate about mind, body, connecting the both to contribute to a successful career, successful life, happy life. And yeah, as I say, very excited to be having this podcast with you, Daniel.
No, I'm super excited as well. It's interesting, when we first met, I had no idea what you did or what your background was, right? And I told you, one of the things that I noticed was you made the biggest amount of progress in the smallest amount of time from the first time you came in, right? In terms of the way you were breathing and your capacity, it progressed more than anything I've ever seen, right? And then when I found out kind of like a little bit more about your story and your background, it kind of clicked, it made sense, right? I was like, well, okay, this is a person that goes all in on stuff, right? And I work with a lot of different people, so that was my first really introduction to you, like seeing the way you go into something, where you came in and like where you are now. And that's been an awesome process to be a part of, you know?
100%. And I feel that as well. And I think with me, like, a lot of people ask me, you know, why do you work with coaches? Why do you work with people? That's the way I learn. I think that's the biggest way that I learn, is if I get told to do something, I just do it.
Yeah.
And like I've been going on this journey for quite a while now, and as you know, that I'm always asking, what more can I do? How much more can I have, and stuff like that. So yeah, grateful to obviously met you, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And this is when you talk about like mindset, and you talk about being able to go deeper and continue to grow and develop. For me, I found that being able to use the breath as a tool to first learn how to calm and influence the nervous system, how to start to be able to actually control the mind, right?
Yeah.
And how to start to understand how the mind works, allows you to go so much further in this physical reality, right? The deeper you go inwards, the more control you have inwards, the more understanding through the breath, the more expansive the outer reality is, right?
For sure, for sure. Look, I've still got bundles to learn, lots to learn, lots to still understand. I'm still I'm so intrigued about it, right? I think like when I started looking into like Dr. Joe Dispenza and stuff like that, like the scientific way of mastering your mindset and stuff like that, it intrigues me massively. It'd be great for everyone to understand, like, from your perspective, like, why is breath work so important? Like, people ask me all the time, like, why do you do this, and why do I work with yourself? It'd be great for probably everyone to understand probably what is your take on breath work.
Sure. So there's many layers of it. Like, the first one is what I had just mentioned, right? Having the ability to be able to calm and control the nervous system. Now more than ever, in all of humanity, I think that is more important. In the whole entire history of humanity, this moment right now is more important than ever, right? Why? Because we're all addicts to our phones. We're all addictive, right? We have addictive behaviors, right? And those addictive behaviors are causing our nervous systems to constantly be firing. There's so much anxiety, there's so much fear, there's so much tension, there's so much division, right? And being able to use the breath as a tool wherever you are, right? It's a beautiful tool because you take it with you all the time. It doesn't matter where you are. Nothing external is necessary. So in every moment, you can calm everything down, right? Find your place of calmness. Find your place of inner peace. That's the first level, right? And by being able to do that, then you can start to control the thoughts in the mind, right? And as you go deeper, you start to access deeper layers of it. Like what you said, you want to keep going. It goes infinite, right? I've been doing this for 20 years and it continues to go deeper and continues to reveal itself. But as we start to go deeper, you can start to get to a place where you can connect deeper to what this human experience is, right? Who and what you are, what this all really is, right? You can start to tap in to your inner wisdom. By tapping into your inner wisdom, that's where you come to find the answers for the places where you are stuck. Right? You start to see that all of your challenges, all of your suffering, right? Those are beautiful, beautiful teachers. They're all teachers, right? So it's that. And the only place where the answers are going to come, it's not going to come from anybody else. I can't give you the answers. You go inwards and you find the answers, right? And in that same place, that's also where you start to find your purpose, right? Like, why are you here? You have unique individual gifts. All of us do, right? You find those gifts. You connect to those gifts and you start to understand, how do I bring those to the surface and how do I live in harmony with those gifts, right? Yeah. And once you find that purpose, you continue to be able to fuel it through the breath, through the continued practice. And it goes infinitely deeper, right? And then if you keep going, you get to the place like the mystical experience, right? That thing that all of these sacred religions have been talking about is accessible to each and every one of us internally, right? When you go deep enough, that full connection to whatever, God, Allah, the Tao, Brahman, it goes by many names, right? But it's the essence of all life, right? It's you at your essence. What your essence is underneath Jamie, right? Jamie is a character structure that you've developed that has physically emerged out of this like energetic space inside of us that flows through us. The breath gives you access to this. 100%.
100%. That's it. It fascinates me. Generally fascinates me, because I feel like as people we can do and achieve so much, and we don't even know. Like, that's why I'm always searching. I'm always seeking, like, what more can I do? What more can we do? Because, you know, I speak to a lot of people. I coach a lot of people. I have quite a large company and whatnot, and I'm an advocate for it. I'm an advocate of just giving back to us, self-discovering, inner peace. And, you know, like, even like when I finish, like, leave your sessions, like on a Wednesday, I just feel so calm, collected. I feel ready. Because like you show me different techniques that I can use for getting my adrenaline up versus calming my body down. Again, it fascinates me.
It's the two things that you said. First, the breath gives you the ability to face adversity, right? Those moments of like challenge, of intense stress, when the world is on fire inside of you, right? When you develop a practice with the breath, you can be the one that finds calm and stillness, right? And that is where the answers come in that moment, right? You can either feed into that emotion of fear and of the fire burning and become a part of it, or you can find your place of calm and stillness in it, right? And then another thing you touched on is the breath. For me, having a daily discipline practice has continued to allow me to expand, expansion, growth. How do we continue to grow? There's always more, right? It's never static and it never ends, right? Where you are right now, you are a happening. Jamie is a happening. We are all a happening. You are a verb, not a noun, right? So where you are going to be, it's going to continue to grow and transform. And the breath gives us the ability to transform and flow in harmony and find our path.
100%.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure. I think like you know, when I first wanted to start doing even meditation, it was just like I was letting myself down, because I wanted to go and do it, but I was either thinking too much, which is probably a lot of people's problems and stuff like that. So I think when I then wanted to do breath work as well, there was a difference between breath work and obviously meditation, right? And I think the breath work point was more, it was different. It was a different take on meditation. I get it, still breathing, but, you know, I get a lot of people asking me all the time, like, what is the difference? I struggle because I've got lots of thoughts in my head. I do. I have 1,000 thoughts go through my head all the time. So, but no, for sure, it's been very powerful in terms of habits and routines to my life to allow me to be the person I am.
Yeah, and gives you introspection, right? You can start to really see and start to understand the places where you are not living up to your full potential, right?
100%.
They come to the surface in the practice, right? The things that you've been neglecting, right?
But it
also, I think it gives us the opportunity to feel into the areas where we're supposed to lean in harder, right?
Yeah.
So like connecting to your intuition and allowing that to be your guide, right? And when you can combine that, like when you can connect to that intuition, that place of inner knowing, and combine that with this, with the analytical mind, right? That's when you can create magic in the physical world, right? And that's where you can continue to grow and transform yourself and evolve.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Yes, it's crazy, right? Just listening to you talk about it, it's I could go on for days about this in terms of understanding more and more and more. I think there's just so much more to know about it.
Yeah, and it doesn't stop, right? Like I've been doing this for 20 years now, and what's beautiful is that like 10 years when I was talking about it, nobody around me really was ready to hear it, right? And now it's beautiful that like it's entered the cultural paradigm, right? And more and more people are coming to it. And there's so many different ways to connect to it. Like you said, breathwork and meditation. There's hundreds of different forms of breathwork, of styles of breathwork. There's hundreds of different kinds of meditation, right? So it's coming to understand, finding your way to connect to it. There's no right or wrong, right? And we've explored a lot of different styles and modalities, right? And the goal there is to find what resonates for you, right? It's not a one-size-fits-all tool, you know? And it's connecting to the breath. It's learning which tools work for me, and starting to understand what we talked about. Like what tools can I go to when I need to slow things down, when I need to calm my nervous system down, when I need to slow my heart rate, breathe through the anxiety. And then which techniques do I need when I need to activate, right? When I need to focus, like maybe I'm tired or my head is a little bit foggy, right? Like how do I use the breath? And all of those different moments, and really being able to apply it. And I think that's one of the keys for me that I'm really trying to deliver. The message is that I think for a long time, a lot of people thought of meditation and breath work, and they think of somebody like, you know, in a monastery or sitting on a yoga mat, right? That is the practice, part of the practice, but the real practice is carrying it with you in the real world, right? I know a lot of people that have beautiful meditation practices, but in the real world, when life puts the pressure on you, right? Can you apply it there? That is what it's for. In those moments, can you find that calmness? Can you find that stillness? Right? Because that's the place where you can react from.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, it's pretty cool, to be honest with you. Like, for me, like when I speak about like the mind and body a lot, I talk about like the connection between it, and like I'm a big advocate of mindset, like huge advocate about mindset. And I say it time and time again, and people forget about it. Like it's not spoken enough about in schools and in workplaces, anything. And I speak to people I coach with, anyone, is you need to master your mindset to master your life. And this is a big part of it, is that when we talk about the mind and body being connected, body for me is, yes, it is cardio, yes, it is gym, but it's the mindfulness, it's the breath work, it's the meditation, it's what you eat, it's the nutrition, etc., etc. And I think a lot of people want to master their mindset, and they might hear me preach about it so much, which I do, but there's also the body element to it. And that's what people forget. A lot of people think like, oh, what's breath work? But then you'll see people that are super successful, they're the people that have elevated themselves more than others. They've done the extraordinary things, the things that have come out their comfort zone and stuff like that. And that's what I believe in, is for you to really be fully successful, like mentally, body, everything, you need to look at everything. You know, it doesn't just come down to working hard all the time, because I get a lot of people approach me and say, you know, I'm not focused, I'm not disciplined, I've got negativity, I can't face adversity. It's because they're not clear. Yeah, the mindset is everything. The mind is the source from which all of this comes, right? Yeah. All of these were ideas. This mic right here started as someone's idea, right? But they had to have the ability and the discipline to bring it into this physical reality, right? So it all comes from the mind, right? Everything, this whole entire physical reality, who you are originated here in the mind. So that is a big essential part of this practice, right? We're not just breathing heavily, there's intention behind the breath, right? And we're really analyzing where we're going in the mind, being able to create a powerful growth-oriented mindset.
recognizing where you have limiting beliefs, right? This practice allows you to really start to see those things clearly, right? Where am I holding myself back? Where am I stuck in negative thought patterns, right?
Yeah.
In victim mentality, right? Like the breath and has really allowed me to like expand past all those boundaries, right? And really start to take ownership of everything, taking accountability, all of these things, right? That's really what is it. It's the science of going inwards and reconstructing this, right? I like to talk a lot about neuroplasticity, right? Understanding that the brain has the ability scientifically to create new neural pathways, right? And finding the old ones and finding ways to eliminate them and create new positive ones.
Yeah, it's so key. I completely agree, because for me, I've naturally been like quite a stressed person, or quite an angry person, and this has helped me calm to the ways that I wanted to go. And obviously, naturally, like we spoke about, obviously ayahuasca, which I've done recently as well, and I'm always seeking like what more, because I always believe there's always something more you can do. That's why I think like this so much, is that because if we're at peace with our inner self, I believe you can achieve anything. And I speak about it a lot, is that I have the mindset I've created now of waking up and believing that I can achieve anything, creating that mindset. And that's the difference. Like, how do you do that? People ask me, how do you do that? It's because it's the work on your inner self. And I believe your breath work is so key, from calming the nervous system to being able to deal with stressful moments. And like you said, belief systems. Everything to do with everything that we are is a belief system. And so many people talk to me about it so much, and they say, I don't believe I'm this, I'm not that, but that is a belief system. And like for me, breath work has helped me elevate even further by understanding who I am, calming me down, being able to not just face fears, but face the day properly, I think.
Yes. For sure, right? And what you said, starting your day connected to it, right? So many of us start our day, we roll over and we look at our phones, and then it's dictating our stories for our day, right? And it might get you emotional, angry, sad, right? And you're starting your day there with horrible momentum, right? And it's not your story you're starting with. By starting the day with a practice, even if it's 5 minutes, right? Connecting to the breath, going inwards. I take control of the steering wheel of where this day is going. And what you said, right? With intention, right? Powerful. That's so powerful, right? Starting to see we are co-creators in this reality, right? We are dancing with this physical outside universe, whatever it is, right? But we have the ability to co-create. And I think a lot of us, especially now, are, like you talked about, limiting beliefs. We're getting bombarded by the internet of ways to define ourselves, right? Categories that are limiting, right? So you're a Republican, you're a Democrat, right? You're white, you're black, you're Christian, you're Muslim, right? Like all of these boxes and these categories, and they are limiting, right? They limit you in terms of your capacity to really imagine what is possible for you, right? Because it gives you walls. They're limiting belief systems, right? So all of these practices are going deeper and pushing past all of these things that we're being told what we are, right? So that you can start to realize, wait, I have the ability to create out here. I can create any path. I can carve a new road that has never been walked before, 100%, right? And that's what you're doing, which is awesome. And I love seeing that, right? Like I see it, you're in it. I could feel it, right? That you are in it. You're in the part of the wave where you've caught the wave and you're carving your own path, right? And that's it. That's it. What you're doing is it.
I'm absolutely huge about that, is talking about that we're in control. I think to most of how our life is, environments, thoughts, words, actions, like people you surround yourself with, I believe you're in control of that. And you know, that plays a knock-on effect on your health and stuff like this. You can become sick because of hereditary things and stuff like that, but I'm a huge believer about that we're control of what happens. Like how our day is going to be, how our week, like the vision, the pathway, the belief system about us. Because if you can create mentally a belief system that you can achieve anything, you are this type of person and you're driving this in. Like, I talk a lot about affirmations a lot.
Yeah.
I speak the person that I want to be. I speak out the day that I want to have, how I want to feel, and all of these little things, breath work and affirmations and all of that is just a contributor to who you're going to be.
Yes, your internal language, right?
Yeah.
Affirmations, right? Like what you say. I work with a lot of professional athletes, a lot of fighters and stuff, right? And they're tough on the outside, right? But they're going into really hard, scary, stressful situations, right? So that's what we talk about, right? Like what are your affirmations? Have your affirmation, your mantra, whatever you want to call it, right? How you're talking to yourself. The language that you talk to yourself is everything.
100%.
Right? And really starting to recognize that, right? A lot of people aren't even aware how negative they're limiting their language is, right? In their mind. And I think one of the pieces of being able to take control of it for me in my journey was accountability, right? First is accepting reality as it is, right? Seeing where we are, accepting it, right? And then taking accountability for where I am in my life and realizing that I created this, right? When I was in the darkest moments, it actually came when I was in the worst part of my life, right? In the absolute worst part of my life. That's where the practice originated. Saying, look how badly I fucked all of this up. Look at this hell that I've created for myself, right? Taking accountability. Because by doing that, then I realized, wait, if I can create hell here, I can create the opposite end of the spectrum too, right? So it's taking complete ownership for all of it and taking control of it and believing I have the ability to create.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think that's kind of the same with myself, because there was a point in my life where I just said, like, enough's enough. I said, enough's enough. I'm drawing a line in the sand. I'm going to make something of myself, and I'm not going to live that shit anymore. Like, from a mindset, from a life, from an environment, from a people perspective. And, you know, I even said to my mum one day, I said, I'm going to make something of our family. Like, our family is not like a super rich and wealthy family at all. And I just said to her one day, drew a line in the sand with me mentally, and just went home and said, I'm going to make something of our family. I'm going to create something, the life who I believe we really should be. And that's taking control. That's taking accountability. That's taking ownership. Like, they're the biggest things, because you can blame. You can say, it's not my fault, it's this person's fault. And I could blame my dad for forever if I wanted to. But I think now just, it's on me. Like, fuck it. Like, like you said, take accountability. I'm so for that. And that's where I think maybe there's a blocker with some people. They will point a finger. They have that false mindset where everything's against them. Everything's a challenge. Can't get through adversity. And that's the limiting belief.
If that's what you see, that's what the universe is going to give you, right?
100%.
It's what, and a lot of people, what I've come to realize in doing this work, right? A lot of us are trapped in our memories and stories of the past. Right? Trauma. And we're still carrying, and it's not to say to push all of that away, right? The breath has actually been an incredible tool to work through all of those bad things and start to understand what the meaning was of it, right? Why did I go through it? There were lessons in those experiences. There were gold there, but I'm not there anymore. I am here now, right? And most people don't know how to get here now. They're either stuck in the past, their stories and memories of themselves in the past, their victim story, or they're worried about the future, right? Both of those places are illusions, right? It's not here right now. And when you can get here right now, the breath is one way to get into it, right? This is how you can start to really create and to build. And I think that's what we're here to do, right? We're here to find our gift and then to use it to create, to share, right? And to help others, right? And that's what we're here to do. That's our role here in the dance, is to find your purpose and unleash it into the world. But you have to believe you can. If you believe you can't, then you can't, right? That's it.
For sure. Yeah, agreed. Like, it just comes back to, like, what you think about yourself at the end of the day, and like breath work. Because for me anyway, it's calmed me down, like calmed me down drastically. It's made me connect more. It's made me think more. It's made me believe more. It's made me think even before I think about the words, think about my actions. It's not mellowed me out, because I believe I'm on fire. I'm ready to go, you know?
Yeah, it can connect you to your inner fire. Like for me, that's what it did for me, right? Like it connected me to that
in
fire.
the right ways.
Yes. And it's the best fuel that there is, right? You can use anger as fuel. For a lot of time, I used anger as fuel, right? Or like revenge, or like, let me show, like that's a fuel, but you're going to burn yourself out with that fuel,
100%.
right? If you can find that clean, pure inner fuel from inside of you, right? When you connect to your purpose, that's it. Like, and that's a never ending source of energy, right? And that's where you're creating from. And that's why it's powerful, right? And that's why it's working, when you can create from that space.
Yeah. I read something not the other day, but quite a while ago, because for me, I had this goal of not being stressed, not being angry, working with my therapist and all of these things. And I think showing your anger is a sign of weakness as well. And that's stuck in my head, you know? And I think the meditation, like you said, it's different forms, and breath work, it's definitely helped me in terms of controlling everything, literally.
I heard something, one of the lines that landed heavily on me, right, is anyone or anything that has the ability to anger you is your master.
Yeah.
And that was hard for me to swallow, right?
Yeah.
So like right now, like most of us, like our masters are either, you know, like political leaders that you don't even know, they don't even give a shit about who you are, and they are your masters, right? Maybe it's this guy or it's that guy, and the whole world is just angered by these people, right? It's recognizing that. Recognizing all of these different things, right? Like that the media is throwing at you that are angering you and taking all of your energy. That energy should be spent going inwards, working on yourself, right? Like using that fuel, that's wasted fuel. That's wasted fuel when you're angry and yelling at a phone, or you know, just angry at all of these different things that are happening in the outside world that you have no control over.
Yeah. I completely agree, and like I wish I learned this. I was coaching someone today, and he's 20 years old. He's an entrepreneur. He's got his own business, and he said, "What would you do now if you was 20?" Because he was 20.
Yeah.
I said, everything I'm doing now, I wish I'd done it so much sooner. I would have been happier sooner. I'd have been fulfilled sooner. Like fulfillment for me is not like success, because success, like money comes and goes. That's the way I look at life. Is money comes and goes, and I think the world is seriously giving to go and get whatever you want. For me, it's about how do I improve? How do I get better? How do I develop me? How do I make sure the lessons that I learn is not happening no more? And you know, for me, I wish I was connected more. I believed more in terms of my whole well-being and inner self and stuff like that. I just wish I'd done it so much more sooner. And it's a shame, but
no, but you're on the path now, right? I've watched this. I've seen you go deeper into it, right? I've challenged you, right? Like by going deeper, like we started doing, like we're using the breath in the cold, right? We learned it on the mat. Okay, now can you show me if you can apply it here, right? And now you're starting to go into explore even deeper, right? With psychedelics, and this is the process. This is the path, right? It's unfolding the way it was supposed to unfold, right? And you are where you're supposed to be, and it keeps going deeper, and it's a beautiful process, man. It goes so much deeper. Yeah. So I'm excited for you. There's so much further to go, you know?
And that excites me as well, because I know, you know, I know there's so much more. There's so much more in terms of belief systems. There's so much more in terms of like the mindset and what we can do. And I just believe that no one literally knows how much potential they really have. And then, like you said, like, I done obviously ayahuasca like 2 weeks ago, right? And we must have been talking about it for a good few months, and it was like waiting for the time is right. But like, I'm a no bullshit type of guy. I will never make up something. I'll never say this, I saw this, so this means this is going to happen, or this is what's happened in my life. I'm not for that. I have to see it to believe in it. And it was crazy experience in the right way. Like I believe that I've been quite angry up till now, or up for probably for the last 2-3 years. I feel more at peace, but I've never smiled so much. I've never felt so pure and at peace after that whole ceremony and what happened. So like, obviously grateful for you probably direct to me, didn't advise me, but it was I'm speechless in terms of what I witnessed.
it's impossible to put into words, right? It's an
100
experience that has to be had. It cannot be communicated through words, right?
Agreed.
And it's a tool. It's a powerful tool to help you to continue expand past your boundaries, the boundaries of what you think you are, right? What you think you're capable of.
It gets you thinking more.
Yeah, it opens up the possibilities, the realms of possibilities. And it's a tool that continues to go deeper. For me, at the deepest layer of it, what it showed me is like, we are in a deep, this whole thing is a mystery. No one knows. You shouldn't believe. Don't just believe anything anybody says until you experience it, right? What is your experience with it? But this is, we're in this like beautiful, deep mystery that is constantly transforming. Anything is possible. There's infinite possibilities, right? And when you can see that's the nature of what this reality is, you realize that's your nature as well, right? So if this is ever expanding and ever transforming, just look at the physical world around us, right? Yeah. Look at this city we're in, Miami, continuously transforming everything, culture, technology. If that is the nature of this physical world, that is your nature as well. So you have the ability to continuously transform, continuously grow, continuously expand, become something that you wouldn't have even imagined 10 years ago, right? When you were a child, when you were 12 years old, could you have even imagined the life that you're living now, right? No. It's beyond the possibility, and it keeps going. It keeps going.
Like just the thought of that on its own, right, just gets me so excited because it just makes me think like there's just so much more. I'm a big believer. There's more, right? And I'm always going to search for more. I'm always look for more. I always want to do more. And just that in itself, like the whole theory behind it, and just like anyone watching this, like it's crazy. Crazy, like, because for me, I know there's so much more that all of us can do. I don't care how skilled you are, there's something more you can get out of your life, and world's evolving and we're evolving as people, and it's you're either gonna run with it, or you're just gonna sit there and watch everything go past you. And that's I just taking every day as maximizing absolutely everything.
I think adaptability is one of the most important skills that humans will need moving forward, right? Yeah. Because everything's transforming so fast, right?
But maybe, people don't want to adapt.
I know, but maybe like 50 years ago, right? Like you found a profession, right? You were a carpenter and you were going to do that your whole life, right? Or you were a lawyer and you're going to be with one law firm, right? Like that's not it now. No. The whole thing is transforming. You have to be able to adapt, pivot, reinvent yourself over and over and over again, right? So it's not defining yourself as one thing, right? Getting past that place of saying like, this is what I'm good at, this is what I'm not good at. It's like continuously expanding that, redefining that, continuing to grow. And I think that's what's going to be necessary, right? In the next 10, 20 years, that's going to be the differentiator between the people, right, that kind of get left behind, and the people that can like continue to grow and expand and create. Yeah,
we're the creators.
I love it. Yeah. I'm very curious to hear more about your experience, your ayahuasca experience.
Yeah, so I was 50-50 if I wanted to do it, because I've just heard all different experiences, and I don't actually know anyone that's done it. No one from the area that I've lived in, I just don't know anyone that's done it. And there was maybe one guy that I heard did do it, and his experience after it changed him as a person, but in the wrong way. But then I was speaking to my therapist about it, and she's very spiritual, and she believes in connecting and the higher self and stuff like that. And I asked her advice because I speak to her a lot about that. And she says, if you come to me and said this to me 3 years ago to do it, I would have said no, because my mindset wasn't right. I was a little bit weak, to be honest with you, a little bit fragile. But she says, now I would say it's your choice to go and do it. So she didn't tell me to go do it. So I thought that was like the step for her to say, yeah, okay, I think it's okay for you to go do it. So I actually found the person through someone who comes to the yoga studio actually, and she was actually giving me a facial at the time at a place, and we was talking about it. I was saying, I'm really interested in doing this. Do you know anything about it? And she was like, yeah, actually, I just done it recently. And she went, it was the best experience I've ever had. Like, no bullshit. Like, straight up, she said that to me. And I was just like, wow. Like, what she was going, and she couldn't even put it into words. And that's what fascinated me more, because how she felt after and how she sees life differently and stuff like that. And like I said, I would only believe that so much because I've not experienced it, right? I'm not someone to believe in something unless I've seen it. And I said, can I have the contact? She said, yeah. She made the intro. I got this guy, he brought his team, etc., etc. We got a place to do the whole ceremony in. It was for 2 days. And I was like a little bit 50-50 about the whole thing because I don't know nothing about this guy. It was all a bit mad. I was reading into it. I thought, do you know what? I'm going to do it now. Like, if I'm going to do something, I'm just going to do it. I don't hold back on anything. And so the first night, we they obviously cleansed the whole house. They gave us like a cleansed drink. And typically, I've heard horror stories like, you know, you go to the toilet a lot, you're sick and all this. I didn't have any of that. So, you know, I'm putting that to bed straight away. If anyone thinks you get all of these crazy symptoms, it's down to your body at the end of the day. My body, I didn't have these bad experiences with it. So there was someone else there with me, one of my friends, and they kind of said they went into the trip the first night. I didn't. I was up till like 4 o'clock the next day in the morning, didn't go into it. I was like, I feel like I've made the wrong decision here. I was half thinking to leave, to be honest with you. I thought, I'm not staying another night feeling like this. But he was like, no. I told the person, he was an experienced guy for sure. And the next day we'd done it again, but he looked in my eyes, he said a prayer. I think he really he understands you deeply. And he gave me quite a lot. He gave me a whole cup for it. It was usually a shot, so he gave me a whole cup and then 2 more shots. So it was a lot he gave me. My friend went into it first, and their experience was like, and he was saying they're going through death and this and that. They were going for about an hour and a half, screaming this and that. And I thought, wow. And I thought I wasn't going to get into my experience because I was so like, what's going on here? Like I was so like aware about it. And I even then left again. I nearly left. I said, look, I'm going to go. And he said, no, just wait. Went through it. I went into the other room because I wanted to concentrate. And I went through this. It hit me. And it hit me. And they talk about like the mother of the spirit and stuff like that. It first started where I saw it was definitely a woman, but it wasn't like a human, if that makes sense. And I went through this whole journey of seeing different things, it was like a different worlds that I was seeing, I was experiencing, I was going through it all. Like, it was deep. It was again, I still can't put my words to it, to be honest with you. And I've heard that you put it together after the experience, and that's my biggest thing. Is I'm still trying to work that out, but I think one thing I've taken from it is that I'm asking more now. I want to find out more. It interests me, you know. And like I said, I think at the end of it, which was just like the crazy thing, is that I've lived a life of maybe slightly darkness, anger and this and that and frustration. I've never experienced myself to be so happy and pure and cleansed, and like I just felt like my body had changed because of how much I was smiling, I was laughing, I was happy about it. And I think that's like my biggest takeaway, is how I felt after. Yeah, I saw loads of crazy things, right? And I still can't put my words to what I saw, but what I felt after, I felt like this for about an hour and a half, where I was still on my own, I was still in it, but it was like a happiness feeling. And like I said, I just really need to reiterate this point. I'm not someone to make stuff up and say, I saw this, so this means this, because I've heard lots of crazy stories. Generally, you can't, I don't care how much money you've earned, how much success you've had, this feeling I had beats all of it.
Yeah.
So that's my experience with it. And I would never advise someone to do it, but I would say to everyone I speak to, you have to do it, because you cannot miss something like this across your whole life. It's an experience that you'll never ever get anywhere. So I'm never going to say, right, everyone should go and do it. But if someone asked me, I would say my recommendation is you should never go through life and not do it, because what you might find and might see and might take the blocker out and feel, you can't put words to it.
it's an incredible tool, right? It's so incredible, and like you said, it's an experience that has to be had, right? I can't put into words any of my experience either. I've been doing it for 20 years now, right? And working with a lot of different medicines on my own, but also traveling, working with shamans, like all over. Every experience is unique. Every experience takes you somewhere else. Every experience gives you new lessons, right?
Yeah.
You're working with like master teachers. That's what I feel. I don't know what it is. I can't put into words. I won't try to define what it is, right? I connect to a female energy a lot, right? Like the mother energy. I connect to that a lot. And every time I feel like it's a consciousness expander. It expands the possibilities. You go deeper into this experience of what's possible, right? I think a lot of us are stuck at the surface level, right? We're at the surface level of what this human experience is, right? And most people can't go deeper, right? This cracks you wide open and can take you all the way in, right? And what's been so powerful for me is combining the two, right? They work together. The breath work, the meditation, and the psychedelics for me have been like, those have been my master teachers, right? Those two in tandem together, right? The breath has been a powerful tool to use during psychedelics to help me go deeper, to navigate like those stormy, challenging moments. And in the beautiful moments, right, to go deeper into those, right? And then afterwards, like you said, to unpack, to find the meaning, to find the lessons, because they're in there, right? But you have to do the work afterwards to keep that connection, to truly understand and to work and unpack the chaos that you're in, right? Because it's crazy what you're in. The visuals are beyond words, right? Like you're seeing things that language is not designed to describe because they're otherworldly, right? I don't know what that space is, right? But you're entering a different space. And it's your job to bring back the little nuggets of gold, right? That's what I feel like I'm exploring. And there's an art to that, right? Over time is going into those spaces, finding those lessons, pulling them in, and then making sure that you integrate them, make them part of you, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of times I've seen a lot of people have these powerful experiences. They connect to God, source, whatever it is. They have these powerful, powerful messages that come, but it's very easy to go back into your patterns, right? Your set patterns. So it's still fresh. Sometimes it takes me months. Sometimes it takes me 6 years, 6 months. Sometimes it takes me a year to fully unpack all of the lessons, right? But you're doing the other work. The breath and the meditation is how you'll unpack it, where all the lessons will come, and it will give you and guide you on how to make it part of you, right? Whatever it gave you, right?
For sure.
And whatever it gave you is what it's meant to give you, right? And as this process goes, like we talked a lot about this, it's listening to your intuition. I never told you you should do it, you shouldn't do it. I said, what do you feel, right? Don't do it until it calls you and you feel it, right? Of course you're gonna be scared and nervous, right? I'm still scared and nervous, right? It's challenging, right? And fully integrate whatever this experience was, and then wait until it calls you again. It might be a year, it might be 2 years, it might be 3 years, whenever that calling comes, right? When you're ready for the next lesson.
Yeah, for sure. I'm always ready for lessons. I don't know if I'm ready to do that again just yet. Yeah, it was powerful. So yeah, that was my experience. But a lot of people ask me, right, is like, what do you think is like the biggest contributor to success? And I'm big about like rapid transformation. I'm huge about success young, success quick. That's how I coach people. That's how I mentor people. That's how I'm an advocate for my business. But I believe that my mindset is what's allowed me to achieve everything that I possibly have wanted in life. And I believe it's been the separator between myself and a lot of my competition is that I haven't mastered my mindset, but I believe I'm mastering my mindset to ensure that anything I set my eyes on and face, adversity included, I can go straight through it. But obviously the breathwork part has been a massive transformation to my life and my overall well-being and calming my nervous system, to my body, to my everything. And obviously you've helped with that a lot, right? So it'd be great to understand like for everyone else, like what do you actually do?
Sure. So first, I work with a wide breadth of people in different places in their lives, right? I volunteered at a local correctional facility working with inmates who are in the darkest of the dark, right? So in that place, I'm helping them use the breath as a tool to get through the fire in their life. They're in the fire, right? And it's relentless and it's never ending. They're in one of the darkest situations that any human could be in, right? The breath is a tool there for you to survive, to get through, right? I work with mothers, right, who have families who are struggling. That's a hard job too, right? Having children, trying to juggle a career, all of that, right? How do you manage the emotions there? How do you manage all of that, right? That's a very challenging role, right? I work with professional athletes. I work with a lot of pro fighters, MMA fighters, but also different kinds of athletes, right? That deal with high stress, high pressure moments, right? The whole world is watching, right? Intense, challenging moments. How do you calm the nervous system so that you can access flow states in those moments, right? When the pressure is really on, right? How do you unleash your highest potential when the lights are on, right? It's one thing to be able to do it in the practice room, right? When nobody's watching, but when the lights are on, when you're in the cage, right? Or where the field or whatever your sport is, right? How do you perform when the moment comes, right? I also work with a lot of high-level C-suite executives, right? High performers such as yourselves in different fields. And it's the same thing. It's the same strategy. So the thread across the board is that it's the same tool I'm giving to everybody, right? I'm teaching them how to use the breath to access these deeper states. So I teach classes weekly at Hanu Yoga Studio here in Miami Beach. I've been doing that for about 2 years now. But I also work privately one-on-one with a lot of clients such as yourself, where we can kind of go deeper, right? Customize it for what it is you need in your life, right? Because like I said, it's a tool that can be used in many, many different ways. I host a lot of different workshops for different kinds of groups, right? So there's a variety of different ways which I'm working with people. There's a lot of people that I work with virtually as well, because the breath is a great tool that it's not like a physical trainer is kind of hard to do virtually, right? Or if you have a yoga instructor or something like that. The breath is something that I can teach you virtually, right? So I work with a lot of clients in that capacity as well.
Nice.
And what's really cool is we're about to start traveling outside of Miami. We're going to start hosting events first throughout the state of Florida, and we're going to start expanding to different cities. Breathwork is something that has caught fire here in Miami. There's a lot of breathwork practitioners, which is beautiful, right? But it's not something that's very common in a lot of other places. So we're going to start bringing these events, bringing workshops where we start to teach people these skills to different parts of the country soon.
For sure.
Which is exciting.
Thank you.